Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Lonnie Ray with PomeroyTV, and today we're going to do something different. Zubbie, which is a YouTube channel that you guys should definitely check out, especially if you guys are into diorama sets and doing something really cool with your action figures other than just playing with them. Anyway, she asked everyone to do a Toybox collection, some of your favorite figures, and I figure I'll do mine. And since this is like the first video of that kind for me, I figured that I would show off my firsts. So all of the figures that you see here are my firsts in some way. Starting off with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Green Ranger that you see there. That's from Bandai. It's the Power Rangers Legacy Collection version of that. That's the one that started it all for me. My brother bought me that figure for Christmas last year, and I just thought it was so cool. I kept it in my classroom. I'm a school teacher, so I kept it in my classroom for a long time, still in box. And I would get a lot of compliments on it. And then I went to Comic-Con later that year, and I met Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger. And from there, it just kind of made me want to collect more. So the next one I got was the White Ranger, and I have a couple more since then. But he was the first action figure that really kind of started me collecting. And this Green Ranger is also the very first review that I put up on YouTube, and I figure how fitting would that be? The first figure that got me into collecting would be the first figure that I would review. So that's that. It's also the first figure that I broke posing. I don't know if you can see there, but his hand broke off there, which is a real bummer, and I gotta fix that. But I broke it during this video, so I just thought it was funny because it's a video about first, and that was the first figure that broke on me. The next figure that I want to talk about is Solid Snake from the Metal Gear series. That's my first order from Big Bad Toy Store. Yeah, that's it. And if you know anything about Big Bad Toy Store, it's probably the best online toy store that you can go and get all your collectible action figures and figurines and everything like that. So that's my first one there, and I really like it, and I love Figma for its posability and its sculpt and its detail and its paint and all the accessories that comes with it. Yeah, so that's the first one that I got from Big Bad Toy Store. And let's not forget another first, the first figure with an articulated mullet. Next we have the SpiderGwen, which is the first Reveltech Amazing Yamaguchi figure that I got. When I reviewed this, I knew that I wanted to keep on doing reviews. So this Spider-Gwen also is like my first like epiphany, like, oh hey, I could be a YouTube reviewer of action figures, and still have a lot of fun with it. So that's the one that did that for me. And it's one of my favorite to pose. So I just love those Reveltech joints. I know that people hate them sometimes, but it's one of my favorites to pose. Next we have Miles Morales, Spider-Man down there. Now that's my first Marvel Legends action figure. Miles Morales is my favorite Spider-Man. Much love to Peter Parker, but Miles Morales is a story that I just really like. And again, it's because I taught 6th grade, and he started out as a 6th grader, so I always think that's really neat. I hate the Miles Morales head on it though, so if you ever see that, it just doesn't look like what I seen of Miles Morales in the comic. But he comes from the Space Venom Build-A-Figure wave that I'm still trying to complete. I still need my Hobgoblin, and I still need my Silk. Once I get those two, then I'll definitely put up a Space Venom review for sure, because Space Venom was a great comic. If you ever read that, or if you haven't read that, read Venom Space Knight. It's just a lot of fun. Next, I have my Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta over here, which was my first Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super action figure ever, but also my first SH Figure Arts action figure that I ever had too, and I loved it. And I've been watching Dragon Ball Super, and I love that. And it's just a fun figure, and especially if you're into Dragon Ball Z, you know how great those fight scenes can be. This one definitely, with all the extra hands that you get and those faces that you get with it, you could definitely create some of your favorite moments from Dragon Ball, and that's why I love that figure so much. What you see around Vegeta is my Blue Flame Tamashi effect. It's not really a toy, but it's necessary for toy photography, which I like to do on my free time. And it just makes Vegeta look much cooler when he has that blue flame around him, and it's one of my favorite things. That's also my first Tamashi effect that I ever gotten. Right next to him is Guyver 1. It's a Figma, but this is the figure that I've always wanted as a kid. If you're not familiar with Guyver, it's an old anime that came out around the 80s or the 90s. That's when I started watching it. And back then, anime was so hard to get a hold of. You had to borrow tapes from friends who knew about this kind of stuff. So that's what my dad did. My dad was a big anime fan. He would borrow these tapes from his friends and we'd sit down and watch it. I must have been like third or fourth grade when we would watch it, and it's definitely not a show that I would recommend to watch with your third or your fourth grader. But my dad let me watch it and I fell in love with it. I mean, it's just super cool armor. Um, and at the end of each episode on those tapes, they would have these Chronos files, which kind of talked about each character in the show, and they would show off the statues of the figurines, and instead of using the cartoon work of the show. And I always liked how lifelike it looked and just how detailed they were. So I finally got it, and it was my first import that I ever purchased from Japan, uh, and I just had to have it, and I love it. It's still one of my favorite figures, and I just love holding it, posing it around, and just taking pictures with it. Super cool. The last figure I have here is my PlayArts Kai Wolverine figure. Now, this is my first PlayArts Kai figure, and I just recently reviewed it, so if you haven't seen that, definitely check it out because it's a lot of fun. I love it because of just how the sculpt looks on it and the paint app on it, and it's a much larger figure. I usually deal with the 1/12 scale or the 6-inch figures. This one right here is a little bit bigger than that, but it's just a fun figure. And if you like to play make believe, or you like to see another artist take on one of your favorite superheroes, PlayArts Kai Marvel variants is the way to do that. They're just so much fun to look at and fun to pose, and they definitely come with a lot of accessories and different heads that you can swap out and make some really fun poses there. Um, and I secretly love the smell of PlayArts Kai figures. Is that weird to say for a Toybox collection? They're made of PVC, I believe, and less that soft plastic smell. Like it smells like new car. So every now and again, I'll take a big whiff of Wolverine, and that'll just be our little secret between you and me. Okay. All right, so this is my collection of firsts. I hope you like what you saw, and I hope you like the stories that went along with it. Which one of these figures are your favorite? Do you have toys that you'd like to share? Go ahead and leave comments down below and tell me some of your favorite stories of your action figures. I'd love to hear them. And then also, again, check out Zubbie. Great channel, and I can't thank her enough for doing something like this for me just because I had a lot of fun reviewing it. All right, you guys are watching Pomeroy TV. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.